Welcome back to my writer's room, everyone. I am Matt Wallace, YouTube's resident angry writer, and thank you for taking a few minutes out of your precious day to come hang out with me here in my lonely little writerly sanctum. I always appreciate it, I really do. Me not being naked on the vlog is brought to you by our t-shirt of the day, which is my Super Mario Brothers, established in 1985 t-shirt. Always repping Super Mario Brothers, and always will. It is January 4th, 2018, and I both said and wrote the date correctly on my first try that time. Thank you to everyone who corrected me this week on that. Still adjusting to the new year. As you can see, Hamshackle Pig, or maybe you can't see, maybe it's all nonsense to you with my artistic stylings, that's entirely possible. Hamshackle Pig has got his pro wrestling gimmick on, his garb, he's got his little singlet, knee pads, these little taped up wrists. That's supposed to be a steel chair. This is like the entranceway. That's the curtain and those little lights. He's coming to the ring. I drew that in honor of Wrestle Kingdom 12, which is happening, not right now, actually already did happen, depending on your understanding of time zones and the time-space continuum. In Japan, Wrestle Kingdom 12 in Japan, the big matchup, Alpha versus Omega, Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega. I haven't checked out any spoilers yet, but I'm very excited about that. But I'm not here to talk about wrestling today. Instead, I thought I would, I'm going to talk about 4 different things. I'm going to tell 4 different unrelated anecdotes, 4 random anecdotes, none of which lead to a larger point, so I couldn't really make a whole vlog out of them, but all of which I felt were amusing enough to include in the vlog, just to entertain y'all out there. So yeah, I hope you enjoy them. So yeah, this is gonna be it's gonna be 4 random anecdotes, and I hope you're okay with that. I hope you're okay with a day without larger concerns. Number 1. So yeah, as many of you know, if you watch the vlog regularly, this was my first week, or I'm in the process of my first week, it hasn't ended yet, of the new full-time writing job I'm doing. I accepted a position as a content strategist and brand storyteller for a media company based in Orange County. Very cool company. And Tuesday, January 2nd, you know, the first working day of the new year was my first day on the job. First day on the clock. Was really excited about it. I'm part of a really cool team of designers, and I have a Scrum Master because they do Scrum, they do the Agile management system, and I just like saying that. I like saying I have to go report to the Scrum Master now. It makes me feel like a character in Star Wars in the best way. But yeah, so my first day, they were getting me set up with, you know, my company email account and project management software and everything I need to do to integrate onto the team. And at one point, I was talking to the CEO of the company, very, very nice gentleman, who of course was nice enough to hire me, and he asked me for my my Skype name so that we could Skype. Thinking nothing of this, I gave it to him, and he was like, "Well, I'll go ahead and send you an invite right now," which he did, which I accepted. And to do that, I had to get onto Skype, and that's when I realized that because I have not been in a full-time working environment for many years at this point, that my Skype picture, the thing that represents my image on Skype on this account that I gave the CEO of the company, of which it's my first day working for them, my Skype picture was a picture from my pro wrestling days of me with long hair, with my face just covered in blood after a particularly grueling match. I'd had that image up on Skype for years and had completely forgotten about it. So that was just, that's what you want to have happen. Your first day at what is essentially a dream job that it took me all year to find. I had 2 saving graces on this. I was mortified. I was absolutely mortified. It's just like, it's one of those, like, it's something that would happen in a movie. It was things, it felt like things going so wrong. It was like a comedy movie material, and not even a good comedy. Fortunately, I had 2 things working for me. One is I noticed it first. So I was able to say, well, I need to change my avatar. That's not professional at all. I was able to get ahead of it as I'm talking to the CEO on Skype. My other saving grace was my CEO is an amazingly cool guy. He laughed it off. He completely understood. And he said he was even anxious to hear all of my stories from my pro wrestling days. So it was fine. But it just was like, you know, I spent weeks trying to think about things exactly like that and making sure that nothing went wrong or went awry. And then through a simple lapse in judgment, that happens. So yeah, again, no larger point to that, but that was a story. I literally called my wife right after it happens. I'm like, I have to tell you the bonehead play I just executed out on the field of life. And she, of course, laughed her head off, as did everyone else. I told the story on Twitter. You might have seen it. As did everyone else on Twitter, and rightfully so. But yeah, everything was cool. Needless to say, after that, I went through every online account I could possibly think of, going through pics and profiles to make sure that didn't happen again. Number 2. That's supposed to be a boat. I don't know if you can tell. I am a terrible illustrator. So yeah, number 2. Christmas is over, if that's a thing that you celebrated. We did here at my home. We had a Christmas tree, our first Christmas tree in the new house. We were very excited about it. We spent literally hours picking it out at the lot. My wife forcing me to open every tree that they had and then spin it, to which she would make what I call her no face, where she crinkles, no, don't like it, there's a hole in it. Went through about 20, 25 trees to find the perfect tree, and we did, and it was worth it because it was beautiful, and it was our first tree in our new home as husband and wife. It was a big deal. And then, you know, the holiday passed. We had the holiday. Everything was great. We decorated the tree, enjoyed it for a month, and then it slowly withered and died, having fulfilled its destiny. And it was time to dispose of it. And here in suburbia, where I find myself now, you don't just drive it to a CVS and dump it really quick and drive away like you just committed a bank robbery, which is what I'd done if I still lived in an apartment in the valley. You actually have to dispose of it properly. You have a can that the city issues you for yard waste. And if you cut the tree up small enough, you can put it in there. You can't just shove the tree in there. So I had to cut this tree down, and and again, I've been a city person my whole life and an apartment dweller. I'm not accustomed to chopping wood. Fortunately, my mother-in-law had a circular saw in her garage. So I was like, great, let's get the circular saw. I'll cut this thing up in short order. It'll be no problem. My wife, terrified of the circular saw. And I don't blame her. It's a menacing, you know, it's a menacing looking contraption with a saw blade that whirs, you know, at 100 miles an hour. And if you're not careful, you could absolutely take a limb off. So she's terrified of this thing. She's terrified I'm going to screw it up and use it. I'm assuring her I know how to use a circular saw. I don't think she believed me the whole time, because she'd never seen me do anything like this before. So we get the circular saw. You know, I figure out the safety latch and everything. We hook it up to the extension cord, take the tree out in the yard, and I proceed to cut through the branches and then cut up the tree. My wife on pins and needles the whole time. Then we had these boards that the previous owners of this house had left in the rafters of the garage that the garbage personnel also wouldn't take because they were too long. So I had to cut up all these boards as well. Spent about an hour doing all this. Nikki just sweating bullets the whole time, certain that at some point I would lose control of the saw and it would go flying into her or into me or something like that. Got through it totally fine. Was feeling my ego on that, kind of a little, you know, I told you so, kind of alpha male bullshit thing. Put the tree away, put the circular saw away, feeling fine about it. A little while later, I'm in my office here, and when we rented the house, we decided to put overhead lights in all of the rooms, which was a good decision, because, you know, you're never without a light, and it turns on the switch in all the rooms. It's great. Problem is, I am very tall, and the ceiling is very short. So as I was changing shirts to shoot one of these very vlogs, I take my shirt off, I extend my hand up, my hand hits the cover of the overhead light, the glass cover, and it doesn't just shatter, it fucking explodes. Like I did it like, it was seriously like I was a wizard and I cast a spell on it. It was amazing with how little force. Like I was Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport doing the dim mock, and it was the bottom brick. It just like, bam, just exploded everywhere, all over the office. And it was one of those good accidents though, because it humbled me. Because I was, again, my ego was all full from the circular saw dominance that I just performed. I think the universe needed to crush me back to earth a little bit by having me do something just extraordinarily, ridiculously, unnecessarily stupid, which I did. You know, so I had to take the thing apart. I had to vacuum up all the shards. I cut my foot a few times on pebbles that I didn't find. It was just, again, so it was a very humbling experience. I hid this from my wife for as many days as possible, obviously. I didn't hide it from her. I just didn't say anything. She finally came into the office this morning and was like, "Did you break a light in here?" As I'm in the bathroom. I was like, "Yeah, it's not a big deal. I'll just go get another one." But such not a big deal, I didn't tell her for 3 days. But anyway, so just one of those good... The thing is, I'm not even upset about it. It was good that happened, because I was getting a big head on me. And I like events like that sort of crush you back to earth, because you need that sometimes. You need that when you start thinking you're infallible, because I am not infallible. I'm the furthest thing from it. Number 3. And is that not horrifying? I think I was going for, like, as I drew the 3, it sort of looked like Elvis to me. So I'm like, oh, I'll make the 3 sing. And that just looks like I forced a 3 to, like, breed with a, you know, like a hip kid from the 50s. And this is the monstrosity that came out. It's not singing, it's begging for death. You can clearly tell. That's horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible. I regret that whole thing. Anyway, number 3. So this is not the story, but... some friends of mine got this for me recently, sort of as a housewarming gift. It's from Finland. It was forged by the descendants of Vikings and looks very much like a Viking blade, as you can see. And it's actually a very nice, sturdy, strong knife. And I had this in our master bedroom here in the new house because we're still getting things organized. So because this is a new house, and because we have a lot more space than we used to, Nikki is still, in particular, is still acclimating to it. I'm acclimating to it too. This is all of this is new for me. Life is new for me right now. But Nikki in particular was having a difficult time adjusting to the newness of the space and the amount of space, especially at night. Nights are the hardest because that's when you hear all those house noises. And our new neighbors even warned us about this. Like for the first 6 months, you know, you're going to hear stuff and it's going to freak you out. It's just the house doing its thing. Knowing this brought us no comfort, obviously, especially, again, my wife, Nikki. She was not comforted by this at all. Literally, one of the first nights we're here, staying in the house full time, she hears something that freaks her the hell out, and I'm designated to go investigate the strange noise, which is perfectly fair. My wife is very fierce, but she's also, you know, 5'6" and... you know, thoroughly untrained, and I'm, you know, so, like, I should take the hit. Without really thinking about it, I get out of bed. This is the middle of the night. I get out of bed, I grab the first thing I can think of, which is this Viking sword, and I lumber out into the expanse of the house to go search for the source of the noise. And, of course, there was nobody here. It was fine. But as I'm lumbering through the house in the dark, butt-ass naked, because I sleep naked. You didn't need to know that, but that's a thing I do and always have. It just occurred to me, like, I almost wish someone had broken into the house. Not like a bunch of determined, sober people, but maybe just like one slightly lit, drug-addled robber. Just so I could flick on a light, and there I stand, you know, 6'4", covered in hair, butt-ass naked guy, holding literally holding a Viking sword. It would have been worth it to see the look on that dude's face when the lights came on. I'm glad no one broke into the house, and I don't want that situation to occur, because as I wave this around dangerously, I don't want that situation to occur, but it's something that struck me as hilariously funny, and I start laughing in the middle of the house. In the dark, in the middle of the night, Nikki having no idea what's going on. But yeah, so that was just one of those funny settling into the new house moments that I felt the need to share with y'all. Number 4, and that's supposed to be a spaceship. That may be my worst one. That's supposed to be like the jet exhaust, and then the 4 is firing. It's just, I do what I can, folks. I can't do After Effects, so it's just me and a legal pad and marker, destined for YouTube glory. Anyway, number 4. You know what's a weird statement to me is like when people say I love animals. When they make that kind of blanket statement. I don't understand that. There are rare people like my sister-in-law who legitimately does mean it. She likes all animals. She refers to them as snuggle. But even then, there are exceptions. She hates turkeys because one tried to kill her when she was a child. So even she doesn't mean it. She gets like 99.9% there. But that's the thing. Most people way, way below that average. How can you love animals as a group when so many of them are horrible? That's my problem. I like some animals. I don't like deer. Deer are giant, disgusting vermin who should be purged from the earth. Dolphins are all rapists, and I mean that literally. I'm not being glib at all. They are all rapists, and I find them terrifying. They are terrifying creatures. Squirrels are just rats with tails. I have more respect for rats. I think they have more character. Hate so many animals. My pure defining hatred, though, is probably reserved for raccoons. Raccoons are basically like cats with that last ounce of compassion stripped away from them because cats are already basically sociopaths to begin with. But yeah, raccoons are cats with no pretense. And it's like, is it me or have they gotten larger in recent generations as well? Because when we lived in, my wife and I, we lived in the condo complex we used to live in, we would see raccoons as big as cats, man. Like, I was taking out the trash once, and I saw a raccoon a few yards in front of me. Just the way it was mad dogging me, I literally went for my knife. I really did. Like, I thought it was on. I thought it was going to be me or this raccoon, Thunderdome style. And then it trotted off. So I hate raccoons. They terrify me. I like possums. I don't have any problems with possums. Again, at the condo complex where we used to live, we had a possum that used to root around the trash, and my wife, Nikki, found it very cute. She called it Bandit. Oh, a little bandit. It's adorable. And I became convinced after a while that the raccoons moved in, and I have no evidence, but I'm pretty sure they killed that possum, like, and claimed the turf, which is a messed up thing when you really think about it, because I never saw the possum again once I started seeing the raccoons. Anyway, so we moved here, and several weeks ago, on our back fence, I saw this fat little possum just chilling, foraging. Like really, like Disney plump and Disney cute. And I was cool with that because, again, I'm cool with the possums. And I would see it every now and then, like around, you know, just doing its thing. And I began to form this mythology that it was like the long-lost brother of the possum from our condo that had disappeared, and it was looking for it. And, like, we were the last people to see it alive, so it was investigating us. And basically, I decided that this fat possum that we have is like John Wick, and it's on a revenge hunt for its long-lost possum brother or something. It's going to get the raccoons that took him out. So I was taking out the trash the other day, and I saw a little bandit too on the fence, and I started doing this monologue about how, like, one day you'll find him, bandit. One day you'll find your long-lost brother. You'll reconnect on that visceral level, and you'll go off into the sunset. Your lifelong mission fulfilled. And as I do this whole impromptu soliloquy, amusing no one but myself, no one else was there, this other possum jumps up on the fence, and and the fat possum turns towards it, almost surprised, and then, like, they were cool with each other. And it was just such a beautiful, like, I could actually hear music in my head, like if it was scored like a movie, or had created this moment where Bandit 1 and Bandit 2 reconnect. It obviously wasn't the bandit from our condo, but I pretended it was to complete the moment. And again, this goes nowhere and has no overarching point. I just thought it was a beautiful little moment that it's just one of those little quirky, dumb life things that makes everyday mundane life worth living when you see some shit like that. It was just nice. So then they scampered off. They didn't have any beef. They were cool. They were like friends, or maybe they were like husband and wife possums. I don't know how that works. Ursula Vernon would know. Anyway, so they ran off into the distance as the music played in my head, as Bandit 1 had reconnected with his long-lost brother Bandit 2. And that's the story of the bandits. If I ever get a chance to, like, snap a picture of them, I'll do that, and I'll show you the bandits. But yeah, that was a cool thing that happened. And certainly make taking out the trash more exciting, because that's, you know, that's one of those things that needs, one of those life tasks that needs to be spiced up. So yeah, that's your fourth anecdote. Well, thank you for enduring those 4 random, completely pointless stories from my my rather unextraordinary life. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of it. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you thought of the video, what you're thinking of the vlog, ask me a question, request a topic, whatever you'd like to do. I'm here to serve, folks. I'm here to serve. Tomorrow is Friday. We will end Friday with a question. I've been getting lots of good questions this week from a lot of you. I really appreciate that on Twitter, here on YouTube, wherever you want to hit me up. I appreciate that. But yeah, I will select one for tomorrow. We'll wrap up the week, my first week at the new job. I'll let you know how I'll wrap that up and conclude that too tomorrow. Let you know how it went. It's going great. Again, thank you for everyone's support through the process of me finding this job and getting this job. I'll bring you up to date on the novel I'm working on and on all my other fiction stuff too, because again, none of that's slowing down. But for now, you've almost made it. You're almost there. Friday looms large. Just hang in a little bit longer. In the meantime, I am Matt Wallace, and I will see you tomorrow.